Okay, sixth graders, this is the last lesson in our chapter. And we're going to use our skills of adding mixed numbers and subtracting mixed numbers and figure out how to answer two types of problems today, okay? The first one is which type or which one has more or which one has the most left. Those types of problems that ask you to compare two amounts, okay? So for example, let's say that 1/5 of you have 1/5 of you like the Vikings, and the rest of you like other teams that are your favorite. All right, so 1/5 of you like the Vikings. Okay. So 4/5 of you like a different team other than the Vikings, right? Okay. And in the 7th grade, 2/3 of the class like the Vikings, and 1/3 likes the other teams. Okay? So 1/3, 2/3. Right? Now, what percent, which has a higher percent of students, which class has a higher percent of students or more students that like other teams other than the Vikings? Max?
6th grade.
The 6th grade, because they only have 1/5 of the class versus 2/3. Now, what we did was we compared these by drawing boxes and dividing them out into the fractions that we need so that you can figure out and read through the question again and see which amount is more. And then answer the question. Okay? Let's look at another type of question. Let's say that you are decorating for a party. Okay? And, or wait, no, I'm sorry. Let's say that you are working on a project that needs 3 strips of fabric. The first piece needs to be 6 2/3 inches long. The second needs to be 8 1/3 inches long. And the third needs to be 5 2/5 inches long. How would you figure out what is the total amount that you need? If you have to find the total, what do you have to do with all of those numbers? Emily? You have to add them all together. Okay? And so, by figuring out and reading through and then writing down the numbers, you'll be able to add, use a common denominator, and then find the answer. Okay? Let's take one more type of problem. This type of problem answers the question, what is the remaining amount? Okay? So let's say that you needed 3 yards of string for a project. 3 yards. Okay? And you have 1/5 of a yard. So you measure out and you see that you have 1/5 of a yard. You have another that's 2/3 of a yard. How much more do you need? How do you find the remaining amount needed? How do you find the remaining amount needed? That's how we draw this out. So you can draw this into 3 pieces and then find the remaining amount. How do you find the remaining amount needed? Well, don't you have to figure out how much this is? So how would you put figure out how much that is. Liz? Okay, what are we going to do though? Are we going to subtract them or add them? We're going to add them. So 1/5 plus 2/3. Then we're going to use what? 15ths. So that's 3 times 5. 2 times 5. And 1/5 is, you have to do times 3 to get 15ths. So 3 15ths plus 10 15ths is 13 15ths. So do we need 13 15ths? No. Does that answer the question? No. What else do we have to do? Isn't that how much we have?
Yeah.
This is 13 15ths. We have to find this amount if the total is 3 yards, 3 whole yards. So now what do we have to do?
We have to subtract 13 15ths from 3 yards.
Yeah, so now our new problem is we have to figure out the missing amount. 3 minus 13 15ths. Well, do we have any pieces?
No.
No, so we have to
Cross it if we make that a 2.
correct
15 15.
and use one of the wholes as 15 15ths
Subtract.
minus 13 15ths. And then it's what?
2.
That's 2 15ths.
And then 2 15ths.
And we still have
The 2.
the 2. So the total is 2 and 2 15ths. What? Is that 2? 2 doesn't go into 15, does it? Not with the remainder. So that's the missing amount, isn't it? Now we have to label it. What is our label? Yeah, we're trying to find how many yards we need yet. Okay? 2 and 2 15th yards. So by drawing it out, you can find the missing piece. Okay? Open up your book to page 154. It says, as a part of their study of Native American basket weaving, Leah's class is making wicker baskets. Leah starts with 36 inches, or 36 inch piece of wicker. She cuts an 11 5/8 piece and a 7 3/4 piece from the strip. The question is, does she have enough wicker left over to cut 2 6.5 pieces? 6.5 inch pieces. So this is another question. Whoops. There we go. This is another question where we have to put these numbers together and figure out what information do we need. So you have to go back and reread the question. Okay? And draw this out. Alright? No, just leave it. Just leave it. It'll go to voicemail.
If it rings
Now, what are we starting with? 36 inches, right? So write that down. She has 36 inches. So if we draw that out, then we cut off a piece. And how big is it? It says She cuts a, what? She cuts off a piece that is 11 and 5/8. Then she cuts another piece off that is,
7 3/4.
okay, 7. There we go. Does she cut any more off?
No.
So then this is the remaining amount, right?
Yes.
Now, what does it ask us about the remaining amount? What does it ask us about the remaining amount? Reread it again. Tyler.
Does she have enough to cut it into 6 1/2?
6.5. How many does she need? Just one?
2.
2 6.5 inch. So is there enough for a 6.5 and a 6.5? How much is that, by the way?
13.
How much is this total? Abby? 13 inches, right? How would you figure that out? Add what?
Add 2.
Add 6 and 1/2 and 6 and 1/2.
Well, and we already did that. What about the other numbers?
Oh, you have to
Add them?
You'll see.
Okay. So 11 and 5/8 plus 7 3/4. Can we add them just like that?
No.
We have to convert 3/4, don't we? To 8ths. Times what? Times 2. Okay. Now what? 5 plus 6 is. Come on, people.
11.
Yeah, 11/8. And 11 and 7 is 18, which is really 19. What's the remainder?
19.
Yep, because we take away a
Oh, yeah.
whole 8/8.
19 is the.
So it's 3/8. Now, is that our answer?
No. Wait,
What are we trying to find? How many are left out of?
The whole entire thing.
So we have to do 36 minus
19.
19 and 3/8. What else could we do? We could find what this amount is, and then take that away from 36 and get the remaining amount, or, cool,
We could add it to 13.
add it to 13 and see if it adds up to 36. What if it does? Plus 13 equals what?
I'm doing that right. 32.
Oh, that's less. So what does that mean?
And it's actually.
Then
It's not the right.
it's not the right answer.
Well,
What is the question?
how much she have in
No, it says,
Does she have enough?
does she have enough?
So it would be
Would that be enough?
No, it wouldn't be enough. Well, I guess
What do you think?
generally speaking.
Bryce?
Because 32 is less than 36, so that means that there is part of it left.
Right. If this, what she needs is 32 and 3/8, and she has 36, then does she have enough?
Yes.
Yeah. So again, you have to take a step back. Once you get the answer, now you have to figure out what does that answer mean? How does that fit the question? Okay? And that's a lot of what you're doing when you are solving these types of problems. Do you see how important it is to draw this out? If you don't draw this out and it's just a bunch of numbers everywhere on the page, you don't really know what it is that you're finding. Once you get to this number, you're like, well, now what? What does that mean? But when you draw it out, you can clearly see, oh yeah, okay, so she has this much. She needs 2 pieces that are 6.5, that's 13. And this is 19 3/8. So if I add these two, then I can figure out how much she totally needs. And you can just see it, that whole thing play out. But if you don't draw it out, the numbers just get lost. And you don't really know if you have solved the problem or not. Okay? So, those are some types of problems that you'll have to do. Find the remaining amount and find the 2 amounts and see which one is more. Okay?